This is, well, for starters, the picture on the front is Stephanie Larkin. She's a young woman who has seen fit to come at me completely sideways. She's into tarot cards and crystal balls and also the Jesus, and she talks to imaginary creatures. I'm overwhelmed by this lady and multiple others just like her. Obviously, she's not going to be able to help me. The screenshot on the front is from, all right, she is consulting psychic investigators, and there's some Illuminati crap and some, God, I don't even know what else. All right, so I have a Google Cloud, and I have to figure out how to unlock it so that I can send evidence. That's not a very difficult thing to do. It's the matter of once I've unlocked it again, so that I have access to the evidence that's supposed to be in there, and I do have to pay for it. I've got to be able to have someone that I can send it to. Pretty simple. So there's a lady who says I can send this stuff to her. All right, well, we need to establish how that's going to happen. If you can't see it, if I send it in Facebook Messenger, I don't understand that. That's something that I am capable of doing with my current skill set and skill level. Yelling at me that you are able to do something, so I should automatically be able to do it, doesn't make it possible. All right, so let us begin. Okay, so I tried to turn in my predators alone. At the very beginning, I didn't have any computer skills other than playing video games and sending emails and watching YouTube. Everything that I had on the computers that was set up, other people helped me with. If they had not helped me with them, I would be clueless and wouldn't be able to have things like an email address. I really sucked at computers. Now, I tried to explain that as someone who is called an at-risk adult, I have to have a friend or family member who is informed to help me turn it in right away. That's where having a trusted friend comes in. You trust your friend to know the details of your life. When you're punched in the face, you go to your friend and you tell them that you were punched in the face. When I say that I have to deal with a lot of really crazy people like Stephanie Larkin, you may not see that as abuse because it's not happening to you, but guaranteed if it happens to you, yes, you will see it as abuse. Being a target for people who are that severely mentally ill, as you want to call it, that's the wrong word for it. She's not mentally ill. She has very specific diagnoses. There's a good chance that she's got bipolar disorder, but there's also a very good chance that she's got PTSD. I don't hate Stephanie Larkin. I understand that she does have severe mental problems, that she has boundary issues, that she believes she doesn't have to have any boundary issues. I just got a message from the other lady that I was waiting on. Um, Much of the evidence that she's wanting me to start up and collect and send to her in a brand new. 3 women in a row have tried to create a Sean Schwartz account in my name, with my name, And there are a lot of people who did that prior, and that was used against me in court because I wasn't allowed to speak up. When they say, well, I'll write a letter, well, that's the thing, is that other people did write letters, but they didn't make the calls with me, and they didn't explain their part of the story. As far as my safety issues go, I think it's a horrible thing for any of these people who are telling me that they're sorry. I think it's horrible for all of them because they only make it worse. When people want to send me a friend request and tell me they'll help me any way they can, look at evidence and speak up. Now, what's Stephanie Larkin doing? She's going through all of my stuff after all this time that she couldn't even pretend to really give a shit, right? Couldn't get involved herself. She's too busy. Well, now that her tarot cards are telling her stuff, apparently lots of really crazy stuff. I'm in Oregon. I'm in Tillamook, Oregon. It's easy to verify where I'm at. Now, Stephanie Larkin and her psychic tarot readings and stuff like that, you know how frustrating it is for me where somebody seems to have it together, and then the next thing you know, they're flipping shit and tarot cards and the Jesus, and God, it's overwhelming. A lot of the stuff that the lady who was going to call me last night, or I was supposed to call her, I did call her on multiple occasions on each of her different numbers. That makes it extremely difficult, especially when I'm still trying to turn in the abuse years down the road, and I'm like, all right, well, it's one of these 5 numbers that belongs to this person. It might be all 5 of those phone numbers that belong to this person. The whole situation with which phone number I'm supposed to call and which one is supposed to be texted, I'm overwhelmed with so much right now. When I am in a state of crisis, yeah, teaching me how to do something by telling me to do it, it isn't going to get it done. It's just going to overwhelm me because I'm trying to explain I'm overwhelmed and I'm in a state of crisis. I literally cannot take care of myself. And instead, people want to argue as if I must be wrong. And I say, well, here's my medical stuff that I can send you. You can take a look at it and see for yourself. And then they want to argue. The other thing is, when there are things that, and mind you, this isn't just with me. This is specifically, especially for males and homeless people. But it does apply to all of us. When the victim is trying to tell you what's going on, listen to understand, not to respond, not to give advice. A lot of people, they claim that they understand. They say, I understand, Sean, I understand. And then they do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And finally, I'm trying my best not to scream at the top of my lungs, please shut the fuck up, asshole. Because I know that they don't mean anything by it. They're off in their own ideas of how things are, their assumptions of how things are, and many of them project it. When they type at me, they type things like, of course, why didn't you go to the police? That shows your inferences, your assumptions, and your opinions. You have inferred that I didn't try to call the cops or to make a report. By asking me why I didn't, you have assumed that I didn't. Kind of like when you want to give the advice of I just need to love myself. You are assuming that I don't love myself. Why wouldn't I love myself? So then there's, of course, the evidence. When there's a piece of evidence, like, for example, the thing with Jamie getting punched in the head. Jamie was punched in the head. The video shows that she was punched in the head. So why are we arguing over whether or not Jamie was punched in the head? It's because you haven't watched the first 30 seconds of that video that show Jamie getting punched in the head. Now, then there's the fact that the lady who recorded the situation where they walked up to me in the Fred Meyers, and also there was a situation here at this parking lot this morning. They thought that I was just living in their parking lot. I literally rented a room for 2 nights. Anyway, the stuff that I have to get done, I am extremely fucking goddamn tired. I've been waiting for 7 hours, literally 7 hours. I'm going to end this video so that hopefully after all these hours, maybe I'll be able to help her. I'm stressed out though, because here's the way that you need to look at abuse against an adult who is at risk. That means their situation puts them at risk. Or a child, if it's a disabled person, a child, or the elderly. You need to treat what they're telling you as if they are telling you about a rape, because you will take a rape seriously. You will not take any abuse against an at-risk adult seriously. You'll argue with them like they're retarded. I've already done much of this stuff. I'm overwhelmed and in a state of crisis, and as a result, I am shut down. If I am able to trust somebody, I am going to shut down less. When I tell you that there's a video that I just sent you that has evidence of what you're asking me, because obviously if I'm trying to direct you to evidence, it's because I'm tired of people arguing with me over it. You know, instead of arguing with me for 3 weeks over whether or not Jamie got punched in the back of the head, while during that whole 3 weeks we were arguing, and then at the end of the 3 weeks, you're still admitting to me that you haven't bothered to look at the video or said that you haven't had time. Well, all right. I understand why you haven't had time. You spend a lot of time arguing with the victim who's trying to turn it in. When you think that the rules are different for you, like the things that you say to men especially, but when you blow us off, you also, as a homeless person, women are susceptible to this too. You automatically believe that you know better than us because we're the one on the street. Or you tell us things like, well, if you get up and out, remember where you came from. Or you say, hey, man, I'll help you out as soon as I'm up and out, as soon as I got my shit straight. Nobody ever got their shit straight. Nobody ever got their shit straight. You're never going to get your shit straight. When you care about somebody and they're harmed right now, it doesn't matter that you're not a millionaire yet. If your daughter is raped, are you going to tell her, wait until I got my shit straight and then we'll turn it in? Hey, let's wait until I have a better paying job and then we'll turn in your rapist. Let me wait until I get $100,000 settlement because a police officer sneezed in my direction, and then we can focus on the fact that a police officer raped you like a $2 whore. Do you hear yourselves? When a child comes to you and says that they've been molested, you need to shut up and listen to them. Listen to what they're telling you and help them to turn it in. Trust and believe. When you think that the things that push somebody to suicide, like talking over them, making them feel like they are unimportant, letting them know that they are not respected, that's what pushes people. That's what pushes people to end it all. Is that everybody wants to turn everything into an argument, and they're more likely to do that if you're a male. and even more likely to do that if you're disabled, and even more likely to do that if you're homeless. If you don't have any friends or family, people just assume that you deserve to be punished because if you had a family who cared about you, and if your family doesn't care about you, it must mean that you did something wrong. You're right. I did do something wrong. I told on my predators, including the ones I'm related to. I gotta end this phone call, or I gotta end this message because she just sent me a thing back. And, you know, it's pretty well too late. I won't be able to function well enough to, even if she gives me instructions, because I was gonna try the stuff that she wants me to do. Even though doing those things for people in the past has repeatedly resulted in me sitting there holding all the crap that they put in my hands, and I'm getting treated like I'm doing all sorts of horrible shit. When I explain, don't make a fake profile in my name and ask me to start sending stuff to it, I've got a bunch of stuff already. I just gotta just send it to you. I have to have the ability to, though. While I've been in this hotel room, I have had the ability, but also I'm investing a lot of time into sending people evidence that they're literally not looking at. Like Caitlin Tatum admitted that she never looked at any of the evidence I sent her. But she wanted to argue. She wanted to make it about her and about how she doesn't have any time. Well, if you care about somebody, you make the time. If a disabled adult is telling you that they were assaulted, they know what an assault is. They know what physical pain is. They're not retarded. Homeless people are treated like fucking junkies by police and the hospitals nationwide. The only way to stop that from being the treatment that they get is to be a friend or family member and do what a friend or family member would do, which is make the calls with them, explain to people, like, for example, I have Tourette syndrome. It would have been so easy for my family to explain that I have Tourette syndrome, instead of allowing people to treat me like I'm a crackhead and must be a fucking liar because I have Tourette syndrome. When my family wants to play stupid, that's not my fault. My little brother, he shouldn't inappropriately touched his own children. He should have known better. Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.